So I'm back.
This is gonna hurt, this is gonna hurt.
Yep, only took me a year. Honestly, I was fairly certain I just sort of abandoned the whole concept of having a YouTube channel. I don't really, let's be honest. It's not like a channel. But I went to uni and got very busy, so I haven't really had a lot of time to have opinions on anything. That's not to say that I haven't, I just haven't been able to have time to sit down and express them. And the reason I'm back is because Gabbie Hanna released a new song. Which is a weird reason to come back to this channel that I mainly reserved for yelling about things that I hate. I'd like to preface this with the fact that I don't hate Gabbie Hanna. I used to be quite a fan of hers, actually, and I don't dislike her now. I unfollowed her channel recently just because she stopped posting the kind of content that I liked and started posting more sort of like physical improvement stuff. And as we all know, there is nothing you can do to improve this. No, but seriously, she was posting like workout videos and like clothes haul videos, and that's just not my thing. And it is some people's thing, and that's great, but it's not mine. I always was a fan of her music. I like back in her Vine days, she used to do a lot of singing. I always thought she had a pretty good voice. And so when she started releasing music, I was fully on board. And so I've been following her in that regard and keeping up with her music. My thing is, every time she releases a new song, it's like that spaced quote, sure as eggs is eggs, sure as every odd-numbered Star Trek movie is shit. It's that. Every second song that she releases isn't great. And there are varying degrees of good and bad. Out Loud was a fairly good opening single, followed by Satellite, which I quite enjoyed, but which didn't hit the mark for a lot of people. That was followed up by Honestly, which is great, which was then followed up by Monster, which you may recall as being that giant meme.
What if I'm the monster that's been here all along?
Which was then followed by Medicate, which was really pretty good. Honestly, like, I think the best of her songs so far. It was really well produced, the lyrics were good, the chorus was good, her voice sounded better than it sounded in a really long time. So it sort of all came together and it ended up working, and it gave me a lot of hope for what her EP was going to be like, and I got not super excited, but more excited than I had been after Monster, which I didn't hate either. It's just the meme did sort of take over it, and I can't listen to it anymore without hearing the meme.
What if I'm the monster?
Still fun. It's the new song. It's called Butterflies, and I was at a reasonable level of excitement for it. And then I listened to it, and I wasn't hugely impressed. I can't really comment on the production of it. I was a music student in high school. I'm a writing student here at university, but I don't know how to write like a song with melodies and a hook and produce it. That's not something I've ever been particularly good at, but I can comment on those things sort of separately as individual aspects of the song. So I can't comment on the production, but I can comment on the things separately. Firstly, we should talk about the lyrics. Gabbie writes her own songs, she writes her own lyrics, and I am super in support of that. I think that's awesome. It comes from her writing poetry. I have her poetry book. Like, I think that she's a pretty good writer, but I do think that she does need to have someone there who's going to veto decisions that she might have made that aren't necessarily cogent for the song.
I knew who you were from the start. I just hoped you'd prove me wrong. I could spend all year just letting down my guard while you're stringing me along.
Yeah. Those lyrics aren't the best. And it's weird because in a lot of her other songs, there's some pretty solid use to the metaphors. I mean, it's a bit cliche. There's a Dodie joke. Dodie joked once that every artist has to have a song called like You, Human, and Monster. Dodie's song Monster is toit. There's some solid lyrics in Monster, there's some great lyrics in Honestly, there's good stuff in Medicate, and even when in Medicate there are lines that are overly cliche, but they work because everything else about the song works. It's tightly pulled together. The problem with Butterflies is that there isn't one singular hook to bring you in and make you forget that those lyrics aren't very good, because there isn't a hook. there are what seems to be 2 choruses, one of which is just and the other of which is actually singing about the butterflies. It's a song about a broken relationship, which is what a lot of songs are about, and it can be done very well and has been in the past. She's written it quite well in the past. Medicate's a great example. This just falls flat for a lot of reasons. It opens with, I knew who you were from the start, I just hoped you'd prove me wrong, which is marginally cliche. In fact, the whole first verse is kind of cliche. And then the chorus starts, or what we think is the chorus starts, and it's just ooze. And it turns out that that's the refrain, which is fine. And I'm not the kind of person that's going to say that a song has to fit into like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Some of my favourite songs in the entire world don't fit into that category. I don't think that a song should have to stick to a rigid formula. I think that's ridiculous. But when you can't identify like one stringent melody that runs through the whole thing, I don't know. If you don't have like a central idea and then follow through on that, it doesn't really work. That goes for pretty much anything. You read any novel that isn't good and you can probably tell why it isn't good. It's the same with a piece of music. It's the same with any melody, with any song, with any orchestral piece. It has to have a focus. So when the refrain happens, you sort of like, okay, so this is fine. You assume it's the chorus initially, and then you go back to another verse, then you go back to the refrain again, and then you hear the chorus. And the chorus really comes in with a punch the way you sort of expected the song to begin, in that typical like Gabbie Hanna style of like yell singing, which, you know, is unpalatable to some people. I quite like it. Problem is that chorus comes in really fucking late. It comes in a full minute into the song, which would be okay if she'd sort of hinted at that coming sooner, or if she'd brought it up to like 30 seconds into the song. But because of where it is and the way the music disjointedly doesn't quite fit together, it just sort of misses the mark. It sort of goes from 0 to 100 real fast, and it doesn't land as well as I think she was hoping it would. The chorus itself isn't very catchy. Again, not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're writing a pop song, you do sort of need to have a catchy chorus. If you're trying to write indie rock and stuff, you don't necessarily need to write like a gripping pop punchy chorus. But if you're aiming to write pop music, even if it's pop punk, which I think is what she's going for, you need something. And then there's the lyrics of the chorus, which go like this.
This is gonna hurt, this is gonna hurt. Give it all we can, it'll never work. This is gonna hurt, this is gonna hurt. Beware of butterflies, they'll break your heart, your heart.
It's sort of lazy. For me, that's not just in the lyrics, although that is what I have been talking about this whole time. It's also in the melody. And she posted a video before she released it called something like, oh, my Instagram followers write my song for me, which isn't what the video is about. It's about the making of the song. And it's she did like polls on Instagram that said, should it be a pop song? What should it be about? That sort of thing. They didn't write the lyrics for her. It's not like Freckles and Constellations, which was written entirely by Dirty's fans. It sort of shows the whole writing process. I don't know Gabbie Hanna personally, and I know that she's had that scandal where she supposedly stole jokes from other comedians, and I stay well out of that. But this part of the refrain sounds a lot like this song. Yeah, I'm going to assume that she did that by accident. I would never accuse anyone of stealing stuff if I didn't have the evidence for it, because that would be fucking nasty and unreasonable. I am assuming she came up with that melody completely on her own. Maybe she's never heard of Arizona. She's never listened to the song Oceans Away. It's never even been in her zeitgeist at all. Either way, it's still a bit lazy. Because that song, the Arizona song, it's the backdrop to the chorus. It's the lead in to every line of the chorus. It sort of flows with the chorus. That part of Gabbie Hanna's song is the main point of the refrain. At the end of the first verse, she says, instead I'll write a song. And then the refrain is, it'll go, ooh. This might just be a me thing. It really might. It might just be a personal gripe of mine. But I don't like songs that have within the lyrics, I'll write a song and it'll go, followed by a series of noises. By putting in that you're going to write a song in the lyrics of the song that you have just written, it just feels like a deliberate filler line. And it also feels a little bit tacky. Just a bit. Look, I like Gabbie Hanna. I like a lot of her music. I'm still going to listen to her EP when I've finished with this video. I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and assume that Butterflies is another one of her odd-numbered flukes. But I do think that this is just becoming a pattern of one step forward, one step back, doing a waltz or a gavotte. Speaking of gavottes, watch Good Omens. It's on Amazon. If you want to see something with good writing and great music, that is the show for you. This isn't sponsored. I loved it. Literally, that's it. I love Neil Gaiman. I love the book. I love the show. David Tennant, Michael Sheen, amazing. So is everyone else. It's awesome. Please go watch it. I still don't have an outro because I haven't thought about this channel in over a year. So fuck me, I guess. Bye.
And it goes, ooh, I'm